In late summer here in the Snowy Mountains, the rivers can start to run quite low and the fish get harder to approach and catch. So it might be a good time to talk about some of the recent evolution in euronymphing and how to use it in challenging conditions.
Yeah, got him.
If you still think euronymphing is just lobbing flies or hanging them vertically under the rod tip, well, things have moved on a bit. Stick around as Jared and I show you where it's heading.
Morning guys, Jared and I are out on the beautiful Eucumbene River this morning. We're down here today to test out a couple of new euronymphing rods. These are 11-foot 2 weights, a couple of different manufacturers. There's a movement more and more towards longer and lighter rods for fishing finer tippets and lighter flies.
Euronymphing's always been very competition driven, and it's people are always pushing for like that little bit of advantage. It sort of resulted now in people going all the way down to fishing very thin microliters all the way to the fly line. So what that requires then is a softer rod for more protection. Also, as you decrease your tippet size, you can decrease your bead size. So having a bit longer, more flexible rod just allows you to launch those lighter beads a bit further as well.
And that becomes super critical in these low, clear conditions.
Definitely.
Where you're not going to be able to get right up on a fish. You're going to need to have a bit of range, a bit of distance between you and the fish. Anyway, we're going to have a bit of fun today, and hopefully we might be able to put a fish or two on the board. It might be tough.
Yeah. As you can see, there is bugger all depth in this. I'm sort of sitting ankle height only through here. The only place I'm sort of looking at there might be fish is this little bit of faster water here, and there's a little bit of slot in there. It's pretty low percentage, but there's not a lot of good moving water at the moment to fish, just the river being so low. So I'm just going to keep nice high rod angle, and I'm just trying to keep contact as soon as that fly hits the water. Sort of focusing just on the edge of that fast water. There's a little deeper slot, but just going to throw a couple up in that main run to see. It's pretty shallow.
Okay, so this is so low and clear. It's actually pretty much too low to really euronymph with double nymphs. So what I'm going to do here is switch over to fishing dry dropper on a euro rod. So that means I'm going to have a tiny little euronymph, probably a 2.5mm bead on the point, and then on my top dropper, where I would normally have another nymph, I'm going to put a dry fly to just float the nymph and hopefully be able to fish some of these shallower little runs without having to snag up on the bottom all the time. So there's a shallow bubble line here in the pool, just sort of a gentle flow in. There's not a great deal of depth, but I'm just going to come in from the back and slowly start working this with the dry dropper rig. I've got the sun behind me here as well, so I need to be a little bit careful. Probably can't get too close. But there is also, because I've got such a light bead on, there is also a limited casting range with this rig. So I'm just going to have to work within the parameters of what I can do. And part of that is going to be trying to keep fairly low, so I'm not putting too big a profile on the water. Even with this super light rig, the water's so low that I'm still hitting bottom. If there are going to be fish in here, in these conditions, they're going to be up in the flow where they can get a little bit of cover, at least from birds, and a little bit more oxygen because the water's fairly warm. So I'm working my way up into the best water here. I've just started at the back. Well, I think I've worked that pretty well. Perhaps it's just too shallow this run. We might move on up a little bit, see if we can find somewhere with a little bit more depth. Pelicans. Lots of pelicans. The bird predation here can be a bit of an issue.
I've gone to a dry dropper here as well, just because the flow is so low. Got a size 18, 2.5 on the point, and just a little caddis pattern. Sort of really looking more up to this section up the top here, but I'm going to come right down and around. Just because of the angle that water's coming in, they're going to be sort of aware, looking sort of side-eye towards me, so I want to make sure I go out and around to them. If I was just going to nymph this, I probably want a 2mm bead on, but because I'm trying to carry my dry fly, I've gone for a 2.5, just that extra bead weight just to pull that dry fly through the air. Just sort of tap my finger as well. If you can see that dry fly, I'm just sort of animating it through. We're going to move rapidly through this stuff and just get up to where we want to be fishing, which is the head up there. What I'm doing now is not best practice, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to walk through the centre of this run and see if I can spook a fish to see if there's anything there. I don't think there is, but just out of my own curiosity. Nothing there. Doesn't appear to be many, if any, fish down here. So I'd say the ones that are still in the Euc are up higher, and the ones that were low have dropped back to lake. So anyway, we'll keep ticking along. We might find a really nice piece of holding water that's got fish in it, but we'll just have to cover a bit of distance today, I think. The nicest water is sort of coming up in there.
Got no idea whether this is going to come out on camera, but there's a couple of big fish sitting out there that look like they're starting to get into spawning mode, and there's some smaller ones swimming around them. We saw them move, so we don't know really whether they're spooked yet or not. They may be. He's still sitting there, mate.
How far up?
He's out there. So he's about 2 metres upstream of me and 5 metres out from the bank.
Okay. It's going to be a tough ask. I wonder if I should not blow him and rig up a dry fly leader.
You need to get closer. Hard with the wind, eh? It's probably a metre to the right.
Yeah, I can see him. I just don't want to.
Yeah, that might float onto him. Smaller fish around it. No, he's not moving. I think he knows we're here.
I think he would have moved.
There he goes.
Oh yeah, it's a good fish. There's another big one sitting there too. I don't think they're feeding. I think they're just sitting there getting ready to do their thing. I mean, they're laying in the bottom of the pool. It sort of tells you they're not active, are they?
Yeah.
He's just laying at rest, not moving, dead on the bottom. So Anyway, let's continue. See if we can find some feeding fish.
Yes.
So he's brown, about size 14, isn't he?
Mm.
Got a perfect 3 tails there. And what do you reckon he's up to? Looking for love?
Probably.
Alrighty. I hope that was a fish. It looked like it, unless it just, as I moved, I saw something there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, eh? There's a little drop into this top of this pool here. We're having a lot of trouble finding anywhere with any sort of appropriate depth. But there is a tiny little deeper slot at the top of this run-in. And Jared, not sure, but thought he might have seen a fish just slide out of there. So I'm just going to go in and give it a couple of quick flicks with this. It's a little bit of a tricky spot because there's a overhanging tree, and of course that's where the deep slot is. So let's see if I can be accurate enough with this to get the fly into the right spot. Just going to work my way across there first of all and not race straight up to the spot, just in case there's any fish sitting lower down.
That overhanging tree's making it difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
So I'm just using a water load cast behind me here to try to flick that in nice and low. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say my eyes deceived me. There's nothing there.
That went right in under then. So now I've blown the spot. Got stuck on a stick. All right. Let's see if this big fish spooks out of here when I walk in and get it.
Nothing there, eh?
Didn't see him.
So just have a look in the old engine room. The riffle, I don't know if you can guys see that. There's a few larvae in there. I'll pick one up. I picked one up before and there's a fair few mayfly in there. But what I really want to show you is the size of mayfly. You see all the larvae on the bottom of that. Just wanted to find oh, there's a mayfly nymph there. Don't know if you can see that in the camera.
There's one wriggling on this side, on the underside too.
Ah, look, there we go. That's a caddis here. So he's quite a good sized caddis pupa. He's a caller.
The bright green one.
Yep. What else we got?
Hydropsyche or whatever.
Yep. Ah, there goes our mayfly swimmer underneath here. So you see him. He's a little mayfly. Anyway, my point is, I think in Australia we fish too big a nymphs in a lot of these rivers. 18's perfect size for a lot of them. So don't be afraid to tie smaller nymphs because, as you can see, a lot of the stuff is small. Interesting, the caddis is a bigger size. So if you're tying caddis patterns, don't be afraid to maybe go bigger in the Eucumbene River. You know what that is? Woo-hoo! Now, I've just said to you about small mayfly nymphs.
That's a stonefly.
It is, yeah. That is exactly what that is. You can see why. I don't know if you can see his tail there.
Yeah. Kind of olive, isn't he?
He is, yeah, he is indeed. You can see why the prince nymphs work. You can see his two sort of things out of his butt there, sort of like you do with the turkey bolts. But yeah, he's a ripper. And he's quick too. You can watch, I don't know if you saw the pace at which he moved across the rock, but yeah. Look at all the life on that rock.
Just lift it up a bit. That's it.
You can see how much life there is in this river, right? Every rock's loaded. You see there's a whole bunch of pebbles stuck to the bottom there. I would dare say that's a caddis in there, he's made that. Anyway, entomology lesson over.
Alright, there's a nice little bit of depth here with a little bit of flow. It's going to be hard to fish this because there's so little flow that any movement that I make is going to send ripples all across the pool. So I'm just going to have to try to work my way out quite slowly, cover water as I go. And I'll also need to try and fish as far ahead as possible. I'm getting bottom there. Hard to get distance with this rig because the bead is just so light. You have to have a light bead in order to not sink the dry and to not plummet to the bottom as well and snag up. But that does limit your casting distance. So obviously, if I was euronymphing and I had heavier flies on, I'd be able to cast much further and fish at a lot more distance than I can with this. Fairly deep pool out there to the left too. Just going to put one into that deep stuff to try and clear it. Oh, that went down, and I think it was too deep there to be bottom.
Show you how to catch a fish here. Oh, I missed him. There he goes. He's got a tag in him. He's been tagged, that fish.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's leave him alone. Poor bugger.
So we've just come in at the top of a pool here. It's a nice bit of depth, nice run. I think I saw a fish rise up in the bubble line there as we're walking up. And Jared's in the back here, starting to work his way up with the nymph under dry. Oh, is that a hit? I heard a snap.
Yeah, it went down.
Have you still got your nymph?
Yep. Oh, hello. Yeah, got him. Actually just saw that fish rise in the faster water, and sure enough, he came and ate the nymph. He's only a little fella, he's got a bit of stick on him. Tiny little rainbow. Alrighty. Well, that took a while, didn't it, Peachy?
Sure did, mate. Had to work
Just
for him.
starting to find that cleaner water now. It's a little bit more depth, a little bit more flow. And sure enough, they're there feeding. I'll give you a quick look at him. There he is there. Lovely little rainbow. All right. Finally.
Yes, nicely done, mate. All right.
So I reckon there's more fish up there because I only touched him at the back of that nice water. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, well, I better tie another nymph on then, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you reckon this is nymphable or more nymph under dry?
You could nymph it, yeah, like a single 2.5.
Yeah. Or two 2.5s.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
He took the nymph, that fish, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The SOS.
All right, I might do that. Okay, I'm going to jump into this run now with the double nymphs. I've got 2.5 mil beads on. We'll see if this is nymphable. Well, we're going to need to get up into a bit more flow here, but I'll just work my way up. Oh,
Yeah.
might have missed him then.
Yeah, I seen the flashing. Yeah. Oh, there he goes.
That was neat. Jeez, he didn't hang on to it for long though.
Nah. A small fish, you know, they sort of just whoop at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, got him. Well done, mate.
Finally. Thought I might have blown my opportunity there.
There he is. Lovely fish.
Little guy. Whew. Well, at least we didn't get skunked, mate.
Yeah, that's it.
Can't say I fished that very well. I think I missed a couple of opportunities there, but you know, anyway, we're getting to try out the new gear at least.
100%.
Yeah,
Like what I feel so far.
yeah. Well, mate, we managed to scratch out a couple in the end.
We did, yeah.
It was hard work. It was hard work.
Yeah.
But at least it was a good little shootout for the long 11-foot 2/8s. And realistically, these sort of lower, clearer conditions where you can still nymph or fish nymph under dry are ideal for these longer rods, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. There's such an advantage, just the extra range you can get and just being able to fish that finer, lighter tippet in clear water without fear of breaking fish off. It's definitely a game changer.
That's right. And if you're going to fish that really light tippet, you need to have a rod that's going to protect that tippet. Otherwise, the minute you hook into a decent fish or even a half decent fish, it's going to snap you off if you haven't got that tippet protection.
Yeah, so I think I'll be my main nymphing rod going forward. I always say with long rods, you can stand back from the bank and fish the edge, but when you need the length, you can't just produce it. So it's good to have it. There's a big fish. Anyway.
Well, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave us a comment. If you've got any questions, let us know. And we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Catch ya.